Hey there, I'm Brett, and today on MathX, as I promised you, we are covering some more difficult algebraic expressions. The algebraic expressions that we're going to be simplifying today are going to take a lot more steps and a lot more work to get them down to their simplest form. If you haven't watched my previous video on simplifying algebraic expressions level 1, I would check that out first before I jump into today's tutorial. Otherwise, let's not waste any time, let's just get started. The first thing I want to take care of in this problem is the -2 on the outside of these parentheses. So anytime I have an exponent on the outside of parentheses, it's definitely going to be the first thing you want to take care of. You kind of want to start simplifying things down. And in this one, we have sort of a special case because we have a negative exponent on the outside. And remember that negative means the reciprocal. So what I'm going to do here to get started is I'm going to take the reciprocal of 2a squared b over c cubed. In that step, all I had to do was flip the 2a squared b over c cubed upside down, and that allowed me to get rid of the negative symbol on the 2. Now I'm going to go ahead and apply the power of 2 to each item inside the parentheses. So that means the c cubed is going to be raised to the second power, the 2 is going to be squared, the a squared is going to be squared, and the b is going to be squared. Now we're free to go ahead and multiply these two terms together. To do that, I want to make 3ab squared c a fraction, so I'm just going to write it over 1. And that's going to let me multiply the numerators together and the denominators together. Then once I have them all as one fraction, I can begin that kind of process of simplifying by cross-canceling. So notice here how I combined c times c to the 6th to make c to the 7th. Don't forget that c is really raised to the first power, so that's where I get the 1 plus 6 to get 7. Now we want to go ahead and cancel. So I can cancel out the b squareds on top and bottom. As well, I have 1a on top and 4a's on bottom, so I can cancel out 1a with 1 from the bottom. The last step here now is to just clean this up. I have on top 3c to the 7th left. And on bottom I have 2 squared, which I can write as 4, and a cubed. Alright, so in this problem I have a lot of negative exponents going on. I have negatives on this x, z, and y, as well as a negative being applied to the entire expression here with this -1. So I have two options here. With the -1, I can choose to take the reciprocal first, like we did up here, where I flipped this guy upside down to get rid of the negative symbol. Or I can go ahead and distribute the negative power onto each variable and then take care of the negatives. I think it's just a lot simpler to just get rid of this negative to start with. So I'm going to flip this fraction upside down so that I can just remove this -1 from the expression. Now before I jump into canceling, I need to make sure that I get rid of all the negative exponents. And the easiest way to do this is to simply move any term with a negative exponent to the opposite side of the fraction bar. So that means I'm going to move the z to the -2 up top, as well as the x, and then this y to the -5 is going to go to the bottom. When I flip them to the opposite side, I am free to let go of that negative symbol and make them a positive exponent. Once I do that, I get z times x cubed times x times z squared in top, and y times y to the 5th and bottom. Next, I'm going to combine like terms, and since we're all multiplication here, I'm free to add exponents. Alright, so because there's nothing to cancel here anymore, I am finished. That's our answer. Once again, we're dealing with a lot of negative exponents in this problem. I'm going to start by taking the reciprocal of a cubed over b to the -4th. That allows me to write a positive 3 on the exponent now. Everything that's inside this set of parentheses that this 3 is on is going to be raised to the 3rd power. That gives me b to the negative 12th over a to the 9th. Lastly, I'm going to move anything with a negative exponent to the opposite side and combine this as one fraction. So that means that the b to the negative 1 and b to the negative 12th are going to go to the bottom. And I'm going to just write everything in one fraction bar since we're multiplying it together. Now that I have rewritten this so that everything has positive exponents, I'm just going to combine like terms and do some cross canceling. Once again, I'm starting by taking the reciprocal first to get rid of the negative exponent on the outside of this parenthesis. Apply the power of 2 to everything inside the parenthesis. Move everything with a negative exponent to the opposite side of the fraction bar. And finally, combine like terms and cancel. I think it's safe to say that the problems we solved today are sufficiently more challenging than the ones we solved the other day. But remember, no matter the problem, always just take it step by step. If you found today's tutorial helpful, please give this video a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already, I invite you to join the Math Hacks community. All you have to do is hit the subscribe button below, and then you're one of us. Until next time, thank you so much for joining me on Math Hacks.